Hello lads, and welcome back to another video. First off, I just want to start by saying I'm sorry that this video is not scripted. As you all know, I cannot speak, I murmur a lot, so I'm very sorry. But today, we're going to be covering Bannerlord. Now, you might all know that I am a Mount & Blade YouTuber, mainly focused on Napoleonic Wars and also Persistent World, but I felt I just had to cover Bannerlord at least once, just purely because more and more community information is being leaked, and also the release date is coming up really soon. Today we'll be looking in depth into Bannerlord, but more specifically the combat involved from the clips we have already been shown so far. First off, I want to start with Archery. Now, as you can see from the video, all of his hits are actually one hit. Now, we don't know whether this is because he is in developer mode and they have maxed their archery proficiency, or maybe he just has a powerful bow equipped and the enemy have light armor, or maybe they have finally decided to increase the strength of archers to make them more useful and more feared within the game. Now, this of course means less of the two-handed nuisances running round with just 2H swords and no shield, or maybe even no armor equipped. Now of course this will make them think twice before unequipping their shield. Also, if you look closely, you will see that when one of the archers, especially the main character shown now, is firing, you will see that there is now a 3-stage process to firing. First off, the player will knock the arrow, then they will draw the bow, and only then are they allowed to fire when releasing. Whereas back on Mount & Blade Warband, first you knock and draw as the same animation, and then you can release to fire. Now, this new mechanic could be useful for commands in multiplayer and mods such as Persistent World, but also to feint and fake your opponent by pre-preparing arrows, and then knocking and drawing without firing, which may confuse other players to either lower their shields or to come at you at a faster pace to try and reach you quicker. Now, the reason I believe that they have increased the damage on the bow is for the numerous following factors I'm about to list. First off, they have decreased the amount of arrows a quiver can hold. For example, in the old Mount & Blade, depending obviously on the campaign, the size of the quiver that you buy, but generically on multiplayer, on the old Mount & Blade, a quiver could only carry 30 arrows, 29 with one equipped in the bow. Now, on the new Mount & Blade Bannerlord, you can only carry 20 arrows in one quiver. Now, the reason that this further justifies my point of they have increased the damage of the bow is purely to compensate for the amount of arrows in the quiver. Now, the second reason I say that the damage has increased on the bow is purely for the fact of the 3-stage process in knocking your arrow and firing your arrow. For example, now the reload time has increased, the fire rate has decreased, but the damage has increased. This will make people think carefully when firing their arrows, as 1, you have less amount of arrows in your quiver, and 2, it takes you longer to fire. Therefore, you might miss your opportunity and not be able to kill the person you were initially aiming at. Now, onto Cavalry. There's not much you can talk about just purely because of the limited amount of footage that we've been shown featuring Cavalry. However, if you look now, you will see a Cavalry slide, as in a horse slide. Do you remember back on Mount & Blade when you used to hold Control J and you would jolt the horse? I'm hoping that's in as well. But you would jolt the horse and people would use that to their advantage to then stop when somebody's chasing them to get a slash in, or to stop somebody from slashing them, to immediately halt, and then the other person would ride straight past them and they would hopefully be unharmed. Where this cav slide could be hopefully used well in for instances such as like cavalry group fighting and, you know, cav tactics, etc, etc. I don't play cavalry personally myself, but I'm pretty sure that would be very well used, and in terms of movement, dodging, and overall avoiding those one-hit archers as well. And finally, onto infantry combat. If you look closely in the video now, you will see that the player is actually hitting multiple people with one swing from his two-handed sword. We don't know if this will work with axes and maces, but what we do know is that this will not work with one-handed weapons. Lord Ironhawk has also covered this in much more detail, so if you would like, go and check him out. The links will be in the description to his video and his channel. Now, what I was thinking when watching this is that if they can hit 2 opponents, they can also hit obstacles as well. So, for example, if a player hits one person and the rest of your swing hits an object or an obstacle, it will stun him and will leave him open to an attack from another opponent. This could be a major disadvantage when using two-handed swords. Now also I will show on screen, I don't know if you noticed it, but the AI actually lunge when attacking. Down attacks lunge and up attacks lunge. We don't know how this occurs, whether the AI have to be, or you have to be standing still or moving at a pace. We don't even know if it does more damage or has more attack speed or more attack range, and we don't even know if it works with side attacks. There's just not enough information given. But what we do know is this is a pretty cool animation to add on to infantry combat. I also want to mention that all of the attacks and the animations are a lot nice and a lot cleaner than Mount and Blade Warband. Now, I could not end the video without giving this a really quick mention. If you look closely, when the player swings his two-handed sword, he breaks the enemy's shield, kills his opponent, and hits the wall at the same time. Now, this has so much potential because it stops players from spamming 3 shields with a one-hander just to last longer in the shield wall. It will also make people think more carefully about how many times they attack and will not just block 3 attacks then go for 1 attack themselves. It will make a more hit and miss option. Thanks again for watching, lads. I really appreciate it if you made it this far towards the end of the video. Hopefully that you learned something new and you found this video useful, and I will see you in the next one.